Good morning, class. Welcome to another lesson. We've been looking at elements of literature. So far, we've discussed plot, setting, and in our last lesson, we were looking at the theme. Today, I want us to look at another element of literature, and this is character. Character are the people involved in the story. So remember, we started looking at the setting, the place where the story is taking place. Then we looked at the plot, understand these things. Then we look at a plot. A plot, we said, is events of the story. The story itself is the plot. Then we looked at the theme. The theme, I said, are the main ideas of the story. A theme can be about sadness, happiness. What are you writing about? What is the story going to be about? Happiness, sadness, joy. Those are what we call themes. And now we're looking at characters. Characters are people involved in the story. So each story has to have characters. Characters can be antagonist or protagonist. We'll look more into these things. But remember, when you see words that don't make sense to you, have a dictionary, research. If you don't understand, you have my numbers. You can always ask me. Or during our EduPage lessons, you can ask me. Sir, I don't understand this. Rather than just staying home there and pretending you know when you don't know. That means you're not fooling me, but you're fooling yourself. So let's go on. There are two meanings for the word character. The person in a work of fiction or the characteristics of a person. So character, as I said, the person in the story is a character. And the character can also mean the way you behave. So it's a characteristic now, the way the person behaves. Person in a work of fiction, as I said, the characters are grouped into an antagonist and the protagonist. One character is clearly central to a story with all major events having some connection to this character. This one is called the protagonist. So if you're watching a movie, we call them the main actors, the main show. The whole movie is centered on them, or the whole short story is centered on them. These are what we call protagonists. They're central, they carry the central meaning of the story. All major events evolve around them. And then we have the character in opposition to the main character. This is called the antagonist. So when we're watching a movie, we say this is the villain. That's the language I can use. A villain. That's an antagonist. So in a short story, in a fable, in a folktale, we have a protagonist and an antagonist. An antagonist is always in opposition to the protagonist. As I said, the protagonist is the main actor or the main person involved in the story. The whole story centers around that person. The antagonist is the person working in opposition to the main actors. So the characters of a person, in order for a story to seem real to the reader, its characters must seem to be real. Characterization is the information the author gives to the reader by the characters themselves. So this is characterization. Now depicting a person to be fun or to be boring or to be intelligent. That's what we call characterization. The author may review a character in several ways. For instance, his or her physical appearance. So I as a writer, I might choose to say my character will be strong, the hero. So I portray that character or I depict the character with good physical appearance. Or a character might be on how someone thinks, feels, and dreams, what she does or what she does not do. So these are the characters. She likes chatting, or this one you can choose a character who's a loner. So these are what we call as examples of characterization of characters in a story. Characters are convincing, they are consistent, motivated, and resemble real people. So if you choose this story is going to be about John. That John represents a real person. So a real person has feelings, has happiness, has different characterization. Characters are individual, so there are groups of characters. They can be individual, round, many-sided, and complex personalities. Individual characters have different personalities, can be intelligent, fun, at the same time boring, at the same time someone cool to hang out with. So all these are individual characters. They can also be developing, dynamic, many-sided personalities that change for better or worse by the end of the story. So in a story, you can start with a character who was a good boy, you know, helping out parents. As you develop the story, you tend to depict now the character as troublesome, now has changed. So that's developing. The character develops from a baby to an adult, for instance. And another character can be static. By static, I mean they have one or two characteristics that never change and are often emphasized. So one can be short-tempered, and that characteristic never changes, remains short-tempered. Someone can be very loving, and that characteristic still maintains it and never changes. So these are what we call static characters. Be reading on these. Get a book. Try to understand these things. Hopefully, we shall do them again. But now, continue studying at home. Read a book. Try to analyze a character on your own. That will help you a lot. In our next lesson, we'll be looking at the point of view. It's another element of literature. Stay safe. Thank you very much.